Have you ever stood up from your chair only to feel a strange wobble in your legs? Or maybe you've noticed your legs tiring out a lot faster when you go for a walk or even climb a few stairs. You're not alone. As we get older, our legs, the very things that carry us through life, can start to feel weaker, less reliable, and not quite like they used to. And the surprising thing is, what we put on our plate, yes, even fruits, can play a much bigger role in this than most people realize. Now, don't get me wrong, fruits are often hailed as the champions of health. We've all grown up believing that eating more fruit is always a good thing. But the truth is, not all fruits are created equal, especially for those of us over 60. Some of them, despite their sweet and juicy appeal, could be secretly working against your body, draining your leg strength and messing with your muscle and joint health. Shocking, right? That's exactly what we're going to explore together in this video. We're going to uncover the hidden dangers behind 7 common fruits that many seniors eat daily without realizing the harm they might be doing. But don't worry, we won't just leave you with a list of fruits to avoid. Along the way, I'll also share simple, smart choices you can make instead, so you keep your legs strong and steady, even at 94. So let's ease into this together. Imagine you're enjoying your morning, maybe sitting on your porch or kitchen table, and you reach for a bowl of fresh fruit. Sounds like a healthy habit, right? But let's take a closer look. One of the most surprising fruits that might be sabotaging your legs is the banana. Yes, that soft, creamy, potassium-rich banana we've all been told is so good for us. But here's the catch. For seniors, bananas can be a double-edged sword. While they do offer potassium, which is great for heart and muscle function, they also contain a high amount of natural sugar and can raise your blood sugar quickly. If your blood sugar swings up and down too fast, it can lead to inflammation. And chronic inflammation is one of the sneakiest culprits behind aching joints, weak muscles, and tired legs. Think of it this way. Your leg muscles are like rubber bands. If they're inflamed, they lose their flexibility, their bounce, their strength. And when inflammation keeps creeping in through certain foods like overly sugary fruits, your legs start paying the price. So while a banana here and there might be fine, making it a daily habit, especially if you're not moving much, could slowly chip away at your leg power without you realizing it. And speaking of sugar, let's talk about grapes. They're tiny, they're tasty, and they seem so innocent, but the truth is grapes are sugar bombs in disguise. A small handful may seem harmless, but they're loaded with fructose, a type of sugar that can spike your insulin levels and lead to fat buildup, particularly around your organs and muscles. That means less space for healthy, strong muscle tissue, especially in your legs. Over time, this can cause your muscle mass to shrink, your balance to falter, and your stamina to drop. Now, I'm not saying to fear every grape, but if grapes have become a regular part of your snack routine, especially in the evening when your body's winding down, they might be doing more harm than good. It's easy to forget that sugar doesn't just affect your waistline, it affects your strength, your stability, and your independence. Let's not forget another fruit that often hides behind its reputation, pineapple. Juicy, tropical, and bursting with flavor, pineapple might seem like a harmless treat. But for older adults, the high acidity and sugar content in pineapple can cause issues with digestion and increase inflammation. That nagging swelling in your ankles, that dull ache in your knees. What you're eating could be stirring that up behind the scenes. The truth is, our bodies change after 60. What worked for us in our 30s or 40s might not serve us well now. Muscles don't recover the same way. Joints need more care. And the foods we once loved might now be making our daily lives a little harder without us realizing it. And here's the most important part. This isn't about cutting everything out and feeling deprived. It's about being smart, being kind to your body, and making small changes that lead to big results. Because leg strength is freedom. It's what lets you dance at a wedding, take a walk with your grandkids, or simply move around your home without fear. So, as we think about what's on our fruit plate, it's not about guilt, it's about awareness. And when we know better, we do better. Now that we've uncovered a few fruits that may be quietly chipping away at your leg strength, let's keep going. Because the more we understand what's affecting our legs, the easier it becomes to take charge of our health and feel stronger each day. Now, have you ever bitten into a delicious, juicy orange and thought, well, this must be good for me. It's packed with vitamin C. And it's true. Vitamin C is great for immunity and skin, but here's the catch. For seniors, especially those already struggling with leg cramps or muscle tightness, citrus fruits like oranges and even grapefruits can be a little tricky. You see, citrus fruits are very acidic, When your body is already dealing with wear and tear from aging joints and muscles, this extra acid can stir up inflammation in places like your knees, calves, and even your lower back. On top of that, citrus can interfere with certain medications, especially blood pressure meds which many seniors rely on. So while you're trying to stay healthy by snacking on an orange, it could be working against your body's balance, causing fluid retention or joint stiffness that you just chalk up to getting old. But aging gracefully doesn't have to mean accepting discomfort. Sometimes it's as simple as swapping that morning orange for a less acidic option like berries, especially blueberries or blackberries, which are still sweet but packed with anti-inflammatory compounds instead of sugar and acid. And speaking of things that might surprise you, let's take a look at mangoes. Now I know mangoes feel like sunshine in your mouth. They're soft, tropical, and feel like a vacation in fruit form. But as we age, our pancreas, the organ responsible for managing blood sugar, doesn't work quite as efficiently. And mangoes are one of the highest sugar-containing fruits out there. In fact, one ripe mango can have more sugar than a small candy bar. That spike in blood sugar may give you a quick burst of energy, but the crash that follows, that's the part that hits your muscles hard. It makes you feel drained, tired, and sluggish. And over time, this constant roller coaster of sugar highs and lows can lead to insulin resistance, which plays a big role in muscle fatigue, poor circulation, and even increased fall risk. Now, here's where it gets real. When your blood sugar isn't steady, your muscles don't get the fuel they need consistently. That means the muscles in your thighs and calves, the ones responsible for keeping you steady, climbing stairs, or even getting out of a chair, can weaken. So while that mango may taste heavenly, it could be taking a silent toll on your legs over time. And now let's chat about something even more surprising, fruit juice. Yes, I know it's not technically a whole fruit, but many seniors rely on fruit juice thinking it's a healthier alternative to soda or processed snacks. But here's the truth. Fruit juice is often worse than the fruit itself. Why? Because all the fiber has been stripped away, and what you're left with is a concentrated hit of sugar. Whether it's apple juice, orange juice, or even a fancy, no-sugar added blend, it still floods your body with more sugar than it knows what to do with in one go. That sugar overload causes inflammation almost instantly. It affects your circulation, stiffens up your joints, and slows down your recovery after any kind of movement or physical activity. Plus, it doesn't fill you up, so you end up tired, sore, and still hungry, which can lead to overeating later. It's one of those habits that seems harmless, having a small glass with breakfast or sipping it during the day, but it can quietly steal your strength without you even realizing it. Your legs need protein, magnesium, and anti-inflammatory nutrients to stay strong, not a rush of liquid sugar pretending to be healthy. And all of this comes back to one important idea. We have more control over how we age than we think. Legai. Weakness doesn't just happen. It builds up slowly, often from daily choices that we didn't even know were causing harm. But here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. It's not about saying goodbye to all the fruits you love. It's about being smart, being gentle with yourself, and making small, thoughtful changes that give your legs the love they need to stay strong, sturdy, and supportive. Because let's face it, our legs are our lifeline. They keep us moving, exploring, dancing, and connecting. And when they start to feel weak, the world feels a little smaller. But that's not the life you deserve. You deserve energy, mobility, and the confidence to move through your day without worry. So think of this as a fresh start. Not a diet, not a restriction, but a deeper awareness of what your body is trying to tell you. It's okay to question old habits. It's okay to let go of that morning juice or banana if it means waking up tomorrow with a little more pep in your step. You've come so far in life. You've raised families, built careers, traveled roads, both easy and hard. And now it's time to give your body the care and clarity it needs to keep enjoying life on your terms. Let's keep this journey going and take a deeper look into more fruits that might be draining your strength without you even knowing it. Because that quiet drain on your strength, it doesn't always come from something obvious. Sometimes it's hiding in something that's supposed to be healthy. Let's talk about bananas. Now I know, bananas are often considered the go-to fruit for older adults. They're soft, easy to chew, and full of potassium, right? That's true, but here's the twist. Bananas also pack in a lot of sugar and starch, and if you're already eating a diet that includes bread, rice, or potatoes, adding a banana on top of that might just tip the scale. Your blood sugar rises, your insulin gets overworked, and your muscles, they're left dealing with the aftermath, weakness, soreness, and that awful heavy leg feeling when you try to walk. What's more, if you're on medications like beta blockers or diuretics, which many seniors are, your potassium levels can already be high. Adding bananas can push that level up too much, creating a mineral imbalance that throws off your muscles' ability to contract and relax properly. That leads to cramps, tightness, and stiffness that no amount of stretching seems to fix. So while bananas might seem like a healthy snack, they might not be the best fit for your legs if you're over 65. A half banana once in a while, maybe, but every day, especially first thing in the morning, that could be slowly draining your mobility. Now, let's turn to something that catches people off guard all the time: grapes. Sweet, juicy, and so easy to pop in your mouth, but they're like little sugar bombs. You don't even realize how many you've eaten until it's too late, and by then, your blood sugar has already spiked. You feel sluggish, your knees ache, and your legs just don't want to move the way they used to. What's worse is that grapes have a high glycemic load, which means they can cause your blood sugar to rise faster and more dramatically than many other fruits. And that repeated cycle of spiking and crashing doesn't just make you tired, it makes your muscles less responsive over time. The nerves that control your leg muscles start getting dull signals. That's when you notice it takes a little more effort to stand up, that walking feels a bit heavier, that you need to sit down more often than before. And if you're someone who enjoys dried fruits, especially raisins, thinking they're a convenient snack, be careful. Raisins are even more concentrated in sugar than fresh grapes, and they don't fill you up. They can be addictive in that handful after handful kind of way, but every handful is like a silent hit to your energy and leg strength. It's the kind of hidden drain that sneaks up on you. Another sneaky one, pineapple. It's tropical, tangy, and packed with enzymes that are often marketed as good for digestion. And yes, bromelain, the enzyme in pineapple, can have anti-inflammatory effects. But here's the problem. Pineapple is also very high in sugar and acid. That sugar gets absorbed quickly, and if your insulin isn't sharp and responsive, you'll be left with the same pattern: sugar rush, then muscle crash. And that acidity, for seniors already dealing with arthritis or joint discomfort, it can irritate those inflamed tissues even more. You may think your knees are acting up because of age, but if you're regularly snacking on acidic fruits like pineapple, they may actually be triggering the discomfort themselves. So now you might be wondering, what can I snack on instead? What's safe? What supports my legs instead of silently stealing their strength? That's the beautiful part of this journey. You don't need to give up sweetness altogether. Nature has provided us with fruits that are gentle, rich in fiber, and low in sugar. Fruits like blueberries, which are packed with antioxidants and actually help reduce muscle inflammation, or pears, which are easy on the blood sugar and filled with hydration. And let's not forget avocados. Yes, they're technically a fruit, and they're one of the best things you can eat for muscle strength thanks to their healthy fats and magnesium. It's about tuning into your body and learning what helps it thrive. When your legs feel stronger, when it's easier to rise from a chair, to bend down, to enjoy an afternoon walk, that's your body saying, thank you. That's the reward you get when you gently guide your habits in the right direction. Aging doesn't mean losing power. It just means being more aware, more intentional. You've spent a lifetime caring for others, and now this is your time to care for yourself in the most nourishing, loving way. And trust me, the difference you'll feel in just a few days of cutting back on these sneaky fruits, it's incredible. Your legs feel lighter, your steps are steadier, you even breathe easier when you're moving, and that's not magic. It's just you giving your body what it truly needs. So if you've been struggling with heavy legs, aching calves, or that tired feeling that just doesn't go away no matter how much you rest, this could be part of the answer. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present, paying attention, and gently steering your food choices toward things that heal instead of harm. You have more strength inside you than you realize, and every small choice, every smarter snack, every nourishing meal is a step toward reclaiming that strength and living fully at every age. Because that subtle stiffness in your knees, that twinge when you rise from your favorite chair, it's not always about aging. Sometimes, it's about what's landing on your plate without you even realizing the consequences. Let's take a moment to talk about oranges. Now, they might seem like one of the safest fruits, right? They're packed with vitamin C, they taste refreshing, and they've got a reputation for keeping your immune system strong. But here's the thing. If your legs are starting to feel sluggish, your joints ache more often, or your muscles don't respond the way they used to, oranges might not be the innocent little fruit you thought they were. You see, oranges are highly acidic. And when you consume them regularly, especially in the form of juice, they can increase the level of inflammation in your body. That inflammation tends to settle in the joints and the muscles. Over time, this leads to discomfort, particularly in the legs and lower back. Your morning glass of orange juice could be setting you up for a day of stiffness and fatigue without you even connecting the dots. And speaking of juice, let's not forget how many seniors think that fruit juice is a healthy alternative when chewing whole fruits becomes a challenge. But that glass of juice, whether it's orange, apple, or grape, often contains as much sugar as a can of soda. And unlike whole fruits, juices don't contain fiber to slow down the sugar absorption. So what happens next? A rapid spike in blood sugar, followed by a sharp crash that leaves your muscles feeling weak, your legs unsteady, and your body drained. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you even more. Watermelon. I know it's juicy, refreshing, and feels like a treat on a hot day. But for seniors, especially those with blood sugar concerns or struggling with leg strength, watermelon can be sneaky. Why? Because it's one of the highest sugar fruits you can eat, and it digests incredibly fast. That means it sends a wave of sugar into your bloodstream in no time, and if your insulin isn't working like it used to, which is common as we age, that sugar just lingers around, feeding inflammation and damaging small blood vessels, especially in your legs. And here's something many people don't consider. Watermelon is also incredibly high in potassium. Now, potassium is essential, sure, but if your kidneys aren't functioning as efficiently anymore, as is often the case after 60, too much potassium can actually lead to muscle fatigue, tingling, and cramping. And again, your legs are usually the first to send up the red flag. So while it may feel refreshing in the moment, watermelon could be quietly draining your leg strength behind the scenes. It's all about balance. A few small cubes occasionally, maybe, but eating a large slice every day or having it as a default snack, that's when problems can creep in. It's not about fear, it's about wisdom. And after 65, your body starts whispering things to you that it never used to. That swelling in your calves, the unexpected ankle pain, or even that one step that feels more difficult than it used to. These are all messages. Messages that maybe, just maybe, something in your diet needs a second look. Let's touch on mangoes. 2. Sweet, tropical, and often considered a luxury fruit. But here's the real deal. Mangoes are among the highest sugar fruits in the world, and they're often eaten ripe, soft, and in large portions because they taste so good. But what feels like a healthy indulgence can lead to a surge in glucose that your body simply can't handle the way it used to. When that sugar hits your bloodstream, it doesn't just affect your energy, it affects the health of your blood vessels. And the smaller vessels, the ones in your legs and feet, are often the first to suffer. They narrow, become inflamed, and deliver less oxygen and nutrients to your muscles. The result? Weaker legs, slower recovery after walking or standing, and that heavy, dragging feeling that makes you think twice before heading out for a stroll. It's not about never touching a mango again, but knowing your body's limits means you can. Make better choices, like pairing it with a protein or healthy fat to slow absorption, or keeping your portions small and infrequent. You've got the wisdom of experience, and that's your superpower. You've lived through years of diet fads, mixed messages, and ever-changing advice. But at this stage of life, it's no longer about following trends. It's about tuning in to what your body truly needs to feel vibrant, strong, and alive. The truth is, the fruits we've talked about today aren't bad. They're just not the best fit anymore for what your body needs now. And once you start replacing them with better options, you'll be amazed at how quickly you notice the change. Lighter steps, more energy, less of that frustrating stiffness that creeps in throughout the day. When you begin to eat with intention, when you start choosing foods not just because they taste good, but because they give something back to your body, you take control of your health in a powerful way. You're not just reacting to aging, you're actively shaping how you age, and that's what this is all about. Not fear, not restriction, but freedom. Freedom to move, to walk without discomfort, to climb the stairs without gripping the rail, to bend down and tie your shoes without wincing. That's real freedom, and it starts with what you choose to eat. Your legs carry you through your days, through your stories, through your memories. They deserve to be supported, nourished, protected, and the beautiful part is, it's never too late to make a change that makes a difference. Because every step you take, every time you get up from that chair without needing to brace yourself or reach for support, that's your independence speaking. And protecting that independence, it starts with something as simple as knowing what foods to choose and which ones to leave behind. Let's talk about one more fruit that might be hiding in your routine without you realizing the damage it's quietly doing. Grapes. Yes, those tiny, sweet, pop-in-your-mouth fruits that seem harmless, even healthy. But for seniors, especially anyone concerned about leg strength, balance, and blood sugar stability, grapes can be more trouble than they're worth. They're incredibly high in natural sugars, and because they're so small, it's easy to eat a lot without noticing. A handful turns into 2, then 3. Before you know it, you've consumed the sugar equivalent of a candy bar, and without any of the protein or fiber to slow it down. That sugar spike not only wears on your insulin response, it also fuels inflammation, making joints stiffer, muscles tighter, and recovery after walking or standing that much harder. Now, inflammation doesn't always show up as swelling. Sometimes it's subtle. It's that nagging ache in your calves, the way your knees click a little more than usual, or the way you feel drained just standing in the kitchen for too long. And if grapes have become a go-to snack, especially during the warmer months, it might be worth stepping back and asking, are they really serving your body or just your sweet tooth? And while we're on the topic of common habits, it's important to mention dried fruits. These are especially tricky. Things like raisins, dried cranberries, dates, or dried mango slices, they feel like a healthy choice. After all, it's just fruit, right? But here's what often gets overlooked. Dried fruits are concentrated sugar bombs. When the water is removed from fruit, the sugar remains, becoming more concentrated by weight. That means just a few dried apricots or figs can deliver more sugar than your body needs in an entire snack. And since they're chewy and tasty, you may not realize how much you're eating until you feel sluggish, achy, or foggy later that day. And it's not just about sugar. Dried fruits are often treated with preservatives like sulfites to maintain color and shelf life, and those can trigger inflammation, digestive issues, and joint discomfort, especially in people over 60 whose systems are more sensitive. If you've been reaching for a handful of trail mix thinking you're making a smart snack choice, double-check what's in it. It might be contributing more to your leg pain than you ever imagined. Now, I want to pause here and remind you, this isn't about perfection. This is about awareness. When you start looking at what you're eating through the lens of how it makes you feel afterward, it becomes easier to make better choices. Your body speaks to you every day. It tells you when it feels good and when something isn't quite right. You've just got to listen. Maybe you've noticed your walks are getting shorter because your legs feel tired quicker, or maybe getting out of bed in the morning feels like your muscles are glued in place. You might chalk it up to age, but so often, food plays a quiet role in how our legs carry us or don't. That's why instead of just cutting things out, it's important to replace them with smarter options. If you're craving something sweet, try berries, like blueberries, blackberries, or raspberries. They're lower in sugar, high in antioxidants, and they fight inflammation rather than feed it. If chewing is an issue, blend them into a smoothie with some protein. Your legs will thank you, your joints will thank you, and most importantly, you'll start to feel more energized and mobile. You see, every good decision you make in the kitchen shows up in how you move throughout your day. When you choose the right fruits, ones that nourish instead of inflame, you're giving your body the tools it needs to thrive. And let's be honest, after 65, that's what it's all about. Not just living longer, but living better, freer, more comfortably, because you deserve to walk through your day with confidence, to get up from your favorite chair and feel solid in your steps, to enjoy outings with your grandchildren, walks with your partner, or even just errands around town without feeling like your legs are giving out beneath you. Food is powerful. And while we often think of it in terms of calories or weight, what really matters at this stage is how it supports your function, your strength, your mobility, your ability to live the life you love. You've come so far already. You've built a life full of memories, laughter, and lessons. Now it's time to take care of the body that's carried you through it all. And that starts with making better choices, especially about those sneaky foods that look healthy on the surface but aren't serving you anymore. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to give up everything. But by making small, smart swaps, by choosing fruits that love your legs, your joints, and your energy, you're taking a step toward a stronger, more vibrant version of yourself. And that's something worth celebrating every single day. As we wrap things up, I want you to take a moment and reflect on what we've talked about today. Your legs are the foundation of everything you do, whether it's walking, standing, or simply getting up from a chair. The last thing you want is to unknowingly sabotage that strength with foods that inflame your muscles or rob you of the energy you need to stay active. By now, you know the 7 fruits we've discussed, the ones that may seem healthy at first, but could be damaging your leg strength in ways you don't realize. Grapes, bananas, dried fruits, and others. It's not about avoiding fruit altogether. It's about being smart with your choices, making the ones that support your leg health, not hinder it. But this is not about deprivation. It's about empowerment. When you make these little changes, cutting back on sugar-laden fruits, switching to those that fight inflammation, and choosing the ones that stabilize blood sugar levels, you're taking back control over your health and your mobility. These small, thoughtful changes might seem simple, but they can have a profound impact on how you feel each day. I want to remind you that it's never too late to start taking better care of yourself. You may have spent decades eating certain foods, but that doesn't mean you're stuck with those habits forever. You can shift your routine and enjoy a life full of vitality, all through simple choices that work with your body instead of against it. In the end, it's about feeling strong, confident, and capable. Imagine waking up in the morning and feeling energized, your legs feel light, your joints feel lubricated, and you can go about your day without the aches and stiffness you've grown accustomed to. That's possible, and it starts with choosing the right foods. I know that transitioning away from the fruits that have become part of your regular diet may take time, but remember, this is a journey, not a race. Start with small steps. Maybe you'll try replacing dried fruit with a handful of fresh berries, or switch out those grapes for an apple or pear. Little by little, you'll begin to notice how much better your body feels. Your legs will thank you, and your whole life will feel just a bit more energized and free. As always, I encourage you to listen to your body. If something feels off, it's okay to make adjustments. Your body is your best guide, and it's telling you what it needs. If you found this information helpful today, I'd love for you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. What changes are you going to make to your fruit choices? Have you noticed any changes in your leg strength from what you eat? Let's continue the conversation and help each other on this journey. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video valuable, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss more content to help you live your best life at any age. I'm here to support you on your health journey every step of the way. And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about progress. The choices you make today can help you feel better tomorrow. You've got this. Here's to living your best life one step at a time. Take care of your legs, take care of your health, and enjoy every moment.